Alright, so in this video we're going to look at solving linear equations. This over here should look familiar to you. This is our learning log that we completed this week on how to solve linear equations, and I'm going to use this just as a checklist to solve this following problem. 4 times parentheses 2a plus 3 equals 3 times parentheses a minus 1 plus 31. So the first thing to do is distribute. So what I'm going to do here is this 4 is on the outside, so I need to multiply it by both terms on the inside. So I'm going to do 4 times 2a, which is 8a. 4 times 2 is 8, and then 4 times 3, which is 12. So on the left side, instead of having 4 times 2a plus 3, I now have 8a plus 12. I also need to distribute on the right side, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, I've got to take this negative 3 and multiply it by both terms. So negative 3 times a is negative 3a. And then I need to do negative 3 times negative 1. Notice this negative stays with my 3 when I multiply it. So I've got negative 3 times negative 1, because there is a negative sign. That subtraction sign goes with this one here. So negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. So I'm going to say plus 3. And then I've got this plus 31 on the outside that I'm going to bring down. So I have distributed, there's no more parentheses, so there's no more distribution needed. So the second step over here says to combine like terms. So I'm looking for my variables and my non-variables. So on the left-hand side, I've got one term, 8a, this is a variable term, and then I have one term that does not have a variable. So I cannot combine these because they are different. When I look on the right side, I've got negative 3a. Again, I cannot combine this with any other terms on the right-hand side because it has a variable with it. However, both 3 and 31 do not have a variable with it, so I can combine those. So 3 plus 31 is 34, and then I'm just going to bring down the rest. So I still have 8a plus 12 on the left-hand side equal to negative 3a plus 34. So I've combined like terms. Notice that this step goes with the left side and the right side. So we have not moved stuff across the equal sign. We're just combining stuff that's already on the same side. Then once we get down here to step 3, that's where we're going to start moving things across the equal sign. So the first step is to move the variable. I've got two options. I can subtract 8 from both sides, or I can add 3. Adding 3, I like to do that better because it'll keep everything positive, but you don't have to do that, so you can move whichever one you want. Negative 3a, I added 3a since it was negative, so these are going to cancel. Whatever I do to the one side, I have to do to the other. So now I have 8a plus 3a, so 8 plus 3 is 11, so now I have 11a. I'm going to bring down my plus 12, and then I still have 34 here on the right. Now, we've moved the variable, so the next step is to add or subtract. So again, I'm trying to get this variable by itself. So my next step is going to be to subtract 12. This time I'm going to subtract because my 12 is positive. So they cancel on the left. Positive 12 minus 12 is just 0, so I'm left with 11a on the left-hand side. And then 34 minus 12 is 22. And then my final step is to multiply or divide. Now that this variable is the only term over here, there's nothing else except for this 11a, that is when I can divide both sides by 11. So the 11 is going to cancel, so leaving me with just a on the left, and then 22 divided by 2, or 22 divided by 11 is 2. So I've got a by itself, and it's equal to a number. So a equals 2. That is my final answer. Now, if I wanted to check this, I could take a equals 2 and plug it back into this, and I could use a calculator to type that in and see if the left and the right-hand side equal each other. Please don't forget to use your learning log when you're doing your homework to reference it and help guide you through that.